the house now for sure. You know?
Definitely.
Definitely.
Word, Chronic 91.
Man, this project needs to happen. I was just telling the people, this is something that a story that really needs to be told. How long have you wanted to do this?
What, a documentary?
Yes.
You want me to be honest or you want me to be candid?
Both.
Well, to be
all of
honest
the
and
above.
candid, never. To be honest and candid, never. I always, I mean, the way I was raised is like your life is personal. It's like your triumphs, your defeats, your successes. I mean, whatever people see and notice, that's what they see and notice. But your life and your struggles is your own personal thing. And you know what I mean? I never really looked at my life and struggles as if it would be interesting for it to be anybody else's issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was born in Jamaica, right? My mom almost died giving birth to me, and she just passed this year. So it's like a lot of things. I mean, the only reason why I like the documentary per se is because I decided to do it not knowing that my mom was dying, and when I look at the footages and there's pictures that people took that day while we were filming, talking to my mom. But I mean, in this business, you find out whoever takes a picture, they own the picture or whatever the situation is, and you know, whoever films it owns the footages or whatever the situation is. But I mean, the fact that I'm part owner and producer of this documentary, it made me feel good that I took the time out to do it, and I could look at my mom again and see her alive. You know what I mean?
See,
Right.
That's something that's really
deep.
special. You know, and I'm very sorry for your loss, Bill. But
condolences,
she's gonna live through what you do and what your kids do. You know, and this project. It sounds like it's something real near and dear to your heart on all levels, man.
Yeah. The funny part about it is that my mom really, like, I remember one time I was doing Jerry Springer and they asked me, could I call my mom so they could talk to her? So I called her on my cell phone first, and I was like, Mom, they want to put you on Jerry Springer to ask you some questions. And she's like, I'm not interested in anything like that.
Right.
And I'm like, I understand, because I'm not interested in being here neither. You know what I mean? It's just I'm here, and it's a part of my career, and they want to talk to you. And she's like, about what? I was like, well, the only people on the show right now is just a guy who's a little bit taller than me, but he's a world champion bodybuilder for his size, and there's a doctor on the show that's my size or a little bit taller, and then there's all kinds of people that are my size, but they have career goals and they have established careers. And she's like, oh, so they're not trying to make fun of no one. They're really like trying to dig into the intelligence side of who short people are. And I was like, yeah. She's like, okay, then I'll do it. It's like she always taught me to read everything before I sign it, question anything before I believe I know it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people need in their life. You know, and they didn't get growing up, you know. That's important. That's important, man. Real talk.
Yeah, my mom is like a very important staple in my life.
How much, of this documentary is already filmed, or as production even begun? Because I saw like a trailer.
We've been filming off and on since 2012, because I mean, if Greg is on the phone, he'll tell you that, you know, I wasn't the easiest person to work with, because I wasn't the easiest person I wasn't the easiest person to work with, because I never looked at my life as that interesting. I just looked at my life the way I was raised. Like, if you have children, take care of them. You have a home, take care of it. You have bills, take care of it. You know, work and take care of yourself and take care of your family, and always put family first. You know what I mean? But before friends or hobbies, you know what I mean? Your family is your chief cornerstone of your life. You know what I mean? That's the way I was raised. So it's like sitting down and talking about myself felt pompous. You know what I mean? It's like, why would you want to do that? It's like, you know, it's like you're braggadocious or some shit. It's like, my life is just a simple life to me. You know what I mean? It's like, I was born dying, you know what I mean, and one day I'm gonna die, and I struggled even to be born because I could have died while I was born because I was a breech baby who kept coming out hand and foot first, and the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck, and then my hands got stuck to my chest, and that was cutting off my breathing passage, and I have a heart murmur, and yeah, man, I came in this world with a whole bunch of struggles, man, and then come to find out that life wasn't that much simpler after that fact. So it's just, I just wanted to be the best parent I could be the best child I could be, and be the best human being I could be. But the only time people see a different side of me is when I get sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I get drunk, and I don't hold back how I feel in front of whoever I'm talking to, or whoever the fuck they think they are, or whatever the fuck they thinking. I mean, I just don't give a fuck at that moment, you know. And my mom always told me that was one of my major problems, is that, you know, instead of addressing situations when they confront me, I wait until I'm sick and tired of it, and then I get into the I don't give a fuck mode. And she's like, that's not really, really cool. You know what I mean? Because you'll tell anybody in your family how you feel when you could have addressed it at that moment. Now it's so far after that moment that anything you're saying now seems off timing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so I had to go through that. You know what I mean? I had to go through all of that, but my mom was always there. She's like, all of your brothers and sisters are taller than you. My brother is 6'7", or 6'8", something like that. But yeah, you know what I mean? And my dad is 6'3", and everybody in my family is taller than me. I mean, I'm the shortest one out of 9 kids. You know what I mean? So it's like she raised all of us equally. Like, we are all the same. She never compared one height to the next height. It's like we all had the same chores. We all had the same homework responsibilities. When you come in from school, do your homework before you go outside. You know what I mean? Start looking for a summer job when you get to a certain age so you can learn the responsibilities of paying bills. You know what I mean? So my mom was teaching us home economics before it was ever a class.
Yeah. Yeah. And now it's not even part of the curriculum for the kids anymore. With all that Common Core bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, the kids.
But, you know, I'm just really grateful that I was my mom's child, you know what I mean? That I was able to behold her intelligence, her beauty, and her terms of endearment, you know what I mean? Because she was never one of those parents that loved one kid more than the other, and I don't do that with any of my kids. If I'm I'll be equally disappointed with all of them, and I'll be equally grateful with all of them. It's like I speak to all of them as individuals. I don't judge them all as one.
And yeah, definitely. That's the way it should be. You know, all kids.
That's the only way I know. I mean, I don't know no other way. You know what I'm saying? I wish I knew another way, because then I'd have something to compare it to. But I don't have nothing to compare it to. I just know that that's the norm for me.
I love when Red called in last time you were on this show, and he was talking about he really had no place to go, and you and your mom and your family took him in and basically made him a member of the family. That showed me right there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's how my mom was. My whole life, she always, like, if there was people that came in the country from Jamaica and they were looking for a job and working on getting their visa and their permanent resident situation, she would help them get a job. You know, she would help them get into school. You know, she always did the Christian Children's College Fund, and she would always see pictures of the kids that graduated. And, you know what I mean? It's like, I just grew up always seeing my mom being a giver more than a taker. It's like she was always a caregiver. You know what I mean? It's like she just always loved people, and she always would help people, and that's all I ever known. So, like, when I became famous and like people had nowhere to go, that's what I would do. And you know, even if there wasn't a member of the group, it could have been anybody. Like, we're all hanging out, and they like don't have a ride to go home. I'd either get them a ride home, and if they're too late for them to get in where they're staying at, and they could chill where I'm at. That's just the way I was. And when I met Pac, it's like it was so refreshing to meet someone who knew the same principles I knew.
Tupac had the same principal values, you said?
Yeah, he had the same principles that I grew up with. It's like his house was everybody's house. You know what I mean? It's like if you needed a place to stay, that you could stay there. Because when he didn't have places to go, people showed him the same love. So he always kept giving back. He was always that person naturally. Like, it wasn't a front with him. And when I realized that about him, it's like that's when me and him became really cool. And when he did the song with Scarface, "The Smile for Me," it really was supposed to be the song me and him were supposed to do, actually.
Smile for
but,
Me
you know,
was going to be your
yeah,
track?
yeah, it wasn't going to be that particular song, but we were supposed to do the song. Me and him had spoke on it, and then I'm the one who brought Scarface to Pac's hotel room to even meet him. Face was the kind of person in the early Ghetto Boy stuff that I would go hang out with Tretch and Busta Rhymes and everybody on the Public Enemy tour, and he would just go to his hotel room. You know what I mean? He was that kind of person. And then since I had an outgoing personality, the label had me do all the interviews. If you do all the research, you'll see that anything on Ghetto Boys, when Tipper Gore, Al Gore, Dolores Tucker, any of them were saying anything about Ghetto Boys, it was Bushwick Bill that they would address.
Yeah. Yeah,
right.
You know what I'm saying? You know, because I knew how to talk to people and I knew how to conduct myself in that environment. You know what I mean? Because I was always taught that I was normal. There was nothing abnormal about me. There was nothing that made me less of a man or less of a human being. As long as I got a heart and I could breathe and I got common sense, then I should use that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You know,
you know what I mean?
had just
That's
about
why
every...
I miss people like Pac.
No, go ahead, Bill. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I said that's why I miss people like Tupac and MC Breed, because I mean when I first met MC Breed, it's like and he had the One Puff Productions. I met Jazzy Faye through him. He was sleeping on the couch in the studio, and it was just, you know, I don't really understand how life works and the way things go, and I don't blame people for who they are or what I don't know, but I mean, when Breed didn't have a coffin or a proper funeral, it was like if my money was right, I had to make sure it happened for him, because I know if it was the other way around, he would have did the same thing. He was just that kind of person. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, I just didn't understand what all that was about in the industry, when it's like people couldn't come together and do something. You know what I mean? For someone that if they was alive, you'd be kicking it with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just certain things about life I don't understand, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, to me, people like Pac and MC Breed, man, it's like they're just rare people, man. It's like, and another set of rare people I met too is like Digital Underground. It's like I see why Pac was so cool with them, because Shock G and Money B is like really down to earth people, and Tretch from Naughty by Nature and Vinny is like really down to earth people. It's like, and Queen Latifah, and you know, I'm just privileged to have met Chuck D and some of these people that are just really down to earth, and the fame wasn't their focus. It was the knowledge of the business and how they can make a livelihood out of it. It wasn't trying to live for the moment. It was trying to make a career and a livelihood.
What about Eazy-E? Did you ever get to?
But yeah, when I met Eazy-E, it was like briefly. When I briefly met him, and you know, we kicked it and took pictures or whatever, but we never hung out.
Yeah.
Everybody else I mentioned, I hung out with. Yeah. Like I hung out with Ice Cube, I hung out with Dre. I kicked it with Ren, but I didn't really get to hang out with him as much as I would have liked to. But you know, Ren is really down to earth, good brother too. Yeah,
and Eazy. What they didn't show in the movie is the man was all about charity, and he was all about his family. You know, and I think at some point, sometime, if Eazy would have been alive, I think the two of you guys would have done something together. You know,
eventually we would have, because he was an enterprising individual. But the thing I look at the movie as, like, anyone who knows somebody or anyone who like does the history report on somebody really knows what they think and feel about that individual based on their actions or their rapport. But the thing about the NWA movie, the way I look at it is the way I would look at it if a Rap-A-Lot movie was made. It's like, you're only going to look at it from the perspective of how you felt in that moment.
Right.
When you didn't understand certain things, like when I say you don't understand certain things, it's like the same thing I said on Unsung, but they edited it out to make it sound kind of weird, but it still couldn't put me in the mix of what everybody else was saying, because when you ask me about the money and people complaining about being paid, I'm like, when I asked the question, because I read the contracts to everybody, and if you interview any original Ghetto Boy from back then, or any Ghetto Boy from Phase to Willie D, it's like, you know, I always knew what the paperwork was saying. You know what I'm saying? So it's like my mom, she would always have the kids sit there with her when she was signing a mortgage lease, and she would have the lawyers read it over, and we all sit there and we have a family discussion about it. So I understood legal terminologies, you know what I mean? So back in '89, I read the paperwork to Jukebox and to Johnny C and to Ready Red, and I told them why I wasn't signing it. So I never actually signed until when Rick Rubin came aboard in '90 is when I signed. You know what I mean? But I actually knew what the paperwork was saying. You know what I mean? When it expressed itself about exactly how, like exactly that you're basically work for hire. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's saying that the name Ghetto Boys belongs to this company, and that, you know, your likeness, your image, and your voice belongs to this company. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and if you look at your current situation and you say, well, I got to pay bills, I got to do this and that, so I'm just going to sign it. And I related to the NWA movie like that when Cube was like, Joey, why did you sign it? It's like, I got kids, I got bills, I got to do this. You see what I'm saying?
I got to get this money right now. Right.
Yeah, it's not like you're betraying anyone. You're basically making a life choice. It's like, this is what I have to do, and hopefully it's not just a Band-Aid, but it actually takes care of everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and the unsung thing, when I said it took 90 days before I could get paid, and I didn't understand that, the rest of the conversation went like this. I was like, it took 90 days to get paid because I didn't understand that, you know, manufacturers have to get paid, distributors have to get paid, retailers have to count up their sales. It takes 90 days for that before the inventory of sales and everything and costs for promotion and tours and all that come back to the record label.
Yeah, everything got to clear first before you get your check.
Right. Yeah. Right. Once everything is cleared and all these people who helped out get paid, then it goes to the record label, and the record label pays the producers, they pay the studios, then they pay the artists. You feel me?
Right.
So Unsung left that part out to make it seem like I just said, well, I didn't understand when it took 90 days to get paid. That's not what I was saying. I was like, I didn't know, but when I found out, this is what it was worth. Like, I had to wait for all of these other people who were involved, the people who pressed up the CD, the people who packaged the CD, and the people who put it in the stores, and the stores who sold it. All of this has to be allotted and counted up before any bread could be broken. And it took 90 days. Right. And when you're young, you don't understand that because you're looking at the label like you should have the money. You're not looking at it as, you know, it's a business. All you know is you're a talent, and they say money is there, and you want to get paid. You don't know the ins and outs. I'm sure it became more complicated for Dre when he's running his own company, and you realize all of the overheads and costs. Like when you watch the movie Empire, and you see the one son who says he wants the company. Everybody say that they want the company, but when he's there, he didn't even have time to do his own music. He had so many things to do to keep the company afloat, to make sense of what the music value is, that no one as an artist will understand that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. If it wasn't for TV shows like Empire, this generation wouldn't understand what I'm talking about.
Right. Well, now, like, you were speaking on the old. You were just speaking on the old gang. You know, Johnny C and Jukebox and everybody. And I know this last little Ghetto Boys album tried to put together didn't work. Would you be opposed to working on another Ghetto Boys album? And even though Scarface saying he'd never do another Ghetto Boys album, would you get back with all the other guys?
You have to understand. Face is legally manic depressive, dog. I mean, and I'm legally whatever I am mentally. You know what I mean? It's like I'm disproportionate in thoughts at certain times, and since my mom died, I haven't been emotionally and mentally rational and okay for a minute now, since April when she passed. So it's like,
right.
Face is like this, right? In the early days, we would all get together before we went and met with Lil J, and we'll sit down. It'll be Willie, me, Red, and Face, and we'll say, this is what we're going to discuss. These are our demands. This is what we're going to ask for. And Jay would show up, and he'd be like, all right, what y'all want to talk about? Whatever we could do to make this happen, let's sit down and get it together so we can get the project out and keep you know the momentum going. And Face would just sit there and say nothing. Me, Red, and Will would have an opinion. Face would say nothing. And then when he did decide to say something, it would be that he'd rather work on his album than a Ghetto Boy album. So, I mean, the thing I love about Face is he's never changed. So I have no hatred towards him because he's the realest motherfucker I know. It's like, if he'll talk to you in a discussion, but when it gets into a board meeting, he wants to hear how everybody feels, and if he feels that whatever it is he's about to say, that everyone else already said it for him, then he has nothing to say. I had to grow to be older to understand that. At first, I was upset with him for years. Like, you know, there's a moment where we could have stood strong and just said, none of us are going to do this. And with you not having a voice, I mean, it left it like there was still one vote missing. You know what I'm saying? But we had already said everything that was needed to be said, so he didn't have to say anything. And he was still on our side. He just chose when to speak and when not to speak, and he spoke when it made sense, and didn't speak when it wasn't necessary. You feel me?
Right.
And he's never changed. He's always been pro team, but he's always been like, when shit gets confusing and it's too much rah-rah in the conversation, he'll rather just gracefully bow out and just, you know, and still do the music that he loves till everybody else figure out what they want to do, because he's still on board as long as there's a direction.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if he says he's not going to do a Ghetto Boy album, it's because there's other elements in that process that he doesn't like. Like, we've been doing these shows, and Will has been in control as the tour manager and the artist at the same time. Him and his booking manager, our agent, Rich Spears or whatever. I mean, I never signed nothing with Rich Spears. I mean, so it's like, I don't know if Face did, but I just know that they say he's the exclusive Ghetto Boy, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, I just know that's Willie's thing, and if Face is doing the shows, I would do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
If it was something
because my homeboy told me y'all closed out the Texas Rap Festival last year. You know what I'm saying? They let y'all go last after everybody. Like y'all legends and pioneers to the fullest won, but like I'm saying, like would you do the album that Ready Red and Johnny C them said they were
I was getting to that. Like I talked to Ready Red, and I told him, you know what I mean, I'll do a record with Johnny C and Ready Red and Jukebox for the simple fact that I was on one with them already. It's not like I'm doing something new.
It's almost 30-year anniversary of that project too.
You see where I'm coming from? It's not like I'm doing something new. I mean, in '85, that's the Ghetto Boy album I was on, and those were the favorites. So it's not like there's somebody I have to get to know. I already know them. They just never knew me as a rapper. They always heard me rapping, but I'd never rapped on anything with them. The only thing I did was talk on this song called The Problem, which when I met MC Breed, he's like, when you said, come on with it, man, Red Daniel featuring in the front, and he's like, when I heard that, I was like, that's an idea for a song. I was like,